Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today I'm going to show you my new Vanda display. We have a little revamp of the Vanda, let's say, place in my greenhouse because I've already went and purchased the other shelving unit, the mullig unit. This is the small one. You can see it's half the size of the other one, but that's as much as I wanted because I knew there had to be a place for the Vandas as well, because this here place that I used to have for my Vandas, you can see where the chains were, well, it's not so good anymore. Of course, I can still hang some tiny Vandas there, but I cannot use the chains simply because it's just gonna drip on the other orchids. Not ideal. So this was a little sacrifice that I was willing to make. Didn't really catch me by surprise. I knew there was a chance I could not keep my Vandas like that. But it's not something I honestly mind all that much because there are ways. So here we go, we have a new display for the Vandas. This is another, let's call it a stand because it's not a shelf. And what do you know, it's from IKEA as well, and what do you know, it's mullig. It's again the mullig series. But it's this hanger that I have to say I did see in other videos as well. I think Astrid was the first one who introduced it, and I thought, well, that's a really good idea if I ever want to have mounted orchids. Somehow my mind didn't really make a proper connection that I could actually keep my Vandas on this rack. So this is it. It actually is meant for clothing, but Vandas look like they're on hangers anyway, right? And I have to tell you guys, it is raised. This rack is not this tall. It has 151 centimeters height, and I'll link you down below to some IKEA websites, one that has the measurements in inches or feet and one that has in centimeters, just so you know more about this rack if you're interested. And obviously, because I don't know how to make the conversion on the spot to inches or feet. Anyway, so it is kind of tallish, but it's not very tall considering I do have high windows rather than low windows. So for my display here, I needed to raise it up. Good news though, I have an abundance of IKEA tables that I used to display orchids, and they weren't great. They were way too low for the short orchids, that is. For the tall orchids, you can see they do benefit from a lot of light. But yeah, I wasn't necessarily pleased with the tables. However, now they just serve as a stand for this stand to keep it a little raised. Everything is actually pretty stable here because it doesn't wobble at all. The tables are really stable as well, and the feet of the stand are well placed on the tables. Nothing wobbles, nothing is let's say dangerous. I have Vandas. Vandas are light. I don't have medium in my pots. The pots are not heavy. It's not pleasant when you get a Vanda in your head, and that happened to me in the balcony a lot of times because if you remember, I had a string for the clothes. The Vandas were on the string and my balcony was very short, and I did hit my head on the Vandas a couple of times per week, that is. Luckily, they didn't have pots back then, but they did have that little basket. Anyway, I'm blabbing. So yeah, it's not pleasant when you get a Vanda on your head, but it's not the end of the world. And the Vanda stand itself is not heavy. We didn't have any warning in the assembly manual. Talking of which, I didn't film how I assembled it because it was just very easy. You get that top part disconnected from the two bars. You just have to screw in a screw, and then you have the bottom part, that thing over there, plus the legs. You screw them in together at the same time, and in 5 minutes everything is done. So it's really no big deal. So there we go. This is the new display of the Vandas. I have to say first, I wanted to put another kind of wire right here so I can hang the other Vandas. I don't know if I want to do that because it works very well with the Vandas hanging by the pot of the other Vanda, and it kind of saves space, and I can hang multiple little Vandas like that. What I do want to change are the hangers. You can see I found at the flower shop this type of hanger. It is really nice, shorter than the other hangers, and wherever possible I could change the hangers to shorter ones just so I have more room on the vertical. But for now, things look pretty great, and I don't have all that many Vandas, and if I do, I can choose the smaller ones and put them up there. You know, I have a lot of space for Vandas right now, but this is the display and it looks pretty great. And let me give you like a pan of the situation. I'm hiding something from you at the moment because it's not ready. It's right here. But yeah, hopefully it will be ready soon. So this is the display on the south window. The mullig shelves with the mullig stand and the €5 tables. I have no idea how they're called. They're the €5 or $5 probably, I don't know. tables. And I think it looks pretty neat. Right now I have spaces in my shelves where I don't have orchids and I need to arrange and put orchids because everything went there and I have room all of a sudden. Isn't that wonderful? So with this video we shall kind of end the Vanda stream for now at least, and then we'll start talking about Phalaenopsis and Hoyas. If I find a little time this week, maybe in my days off, maybe Wednesday and Thursday, I can just go to the flower shop, actually multiple flower shops, do my shopping and all of that, and arrange what I want to arrange and then film. So yeah, probably at the end of the week we'll talk more about Phalaenopsis and a new display for the Phalaenopsis. And because this is the last video we'll have for a while, not last forever, but for a while about Vandas, let's do an update on the Vanda seedlings. So here they are, these are the Vanda seedlings. But wait, Danny, didn't you used to have them in microfiber? Yes, I did, but I'm using those stands for something else right now, so they needed to come off of there. And there were 15 pots or 16 pots. Too many pots, that's one. Second, they kind of dried a little too fast. Microfiber is perfect for my big Vandas. It keeps them moist for 2 days. I mean, I water now in the summer when it's the hottest, obviously, every 2 days or so. So that's good, but for the seedlings, oh no. Do you know how much water these seedlings require? I did not believe it. They don't like it. I saw, they were doing okay, don't get me wrong, but I saw the root tips growing and then stopping and then growing and stopping and so on. And there are only two things in this world that can cause that. One is thrips, and I don't have thrips. The second is not enough water or moisture. So yes, being that they're seedlings, they're nothing like the mother plants, and they kind of took me off guard with the other projects. So I thought the best thing to do, semi-hydro. So right now, you can see I don't have 15 pots anymore, I have 5. And what I did was just put 3 in each pot. As you probably know, sometimes you can find multiple orchids in one pot just because somebody put multiple seedlings in there. Well, with Vandas, it's not such a bad thing to have multiple fans, considering they grow so slow. Yes, we do want multiple fans right in one place. So everything is okay with 3 of them potted in the same pot. And the roots are staying a lot more hydrated now, and they look a lot better actually. Yeah, they greened up. Well, I did give them some Epsom salt lately, but that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, I'm just noticing now they greened up and they look perky and nice. Yeah, they're enjoying the setup a little better than being kept more like the mature versions of them. Well, what can we do? So these were the seedlings. They're still okay. I think one of them died. Yeah, only one of them when I returned from vacation. All of the roots were dried off and the seedling lost all of the leaves. So out of, I think there were 16 of them. Out of 16, only one lost so far. That's a pretty good ratio. Sorry I lost that one, obviously, but I'm not sure what happened to it. Honestly, it was kind of tiny and flimsy from the get-go compared to the other ones. You can see we have some variations in size. That guy was a little weak and maybe that's why it died. Alrighty, so these were the seedlings, and now for a Vandaceous orchid that I just received yet again from Jessica in one of her packages. Can you guess what this is? I won't show you the tag, I don't want to disturb it. This is an Arachnis orchid. I always wanted an Arachnis orchid, but they're kind of, they're not very expensive. But they're in the 20 euros something, and for that amount of money I always thought, I'm not sure if I can do well with Arachnis. I might as well get a Cattleya or an Epidendrum or something, or a proper Vanda, because I know how Vandas are. So there was always something before the Arachnis. Also, whatever Arachnises I found were pretty seedling sized, and being that this is a Vandaceous orchid, it takes forever for it to mature. So I didn't know if I really wanted a seedling. So long story short, I never got an Arachnis, but I kind of always wanted it. And this one, I think, is young, yes, but I think it's reaching maturity. And it looks wonderful. By the way, this is the flos aeris. There are a few variations. It's a species, not a hybrid. And in some sources, you will find it as a Renanthera. I'm not sure which classification is the newest one, the Arachnis or the Renanthera. Not sure, I'll do the research. I'll add it down below in the description. This guy has beautiful flowers. They look like a spider, and they have the coloration kind of a spider. It's pretty hard to describe the flower. It has a Vanda shape to it, yes, but the petals are kind of thin, or they're curved somehow that they look really thin and bendy in a way. So it looks like a spider with legs, which sounds stupid because there isn't such a thing as a spider without legs. But there you go. Try to imagine the petals as looking like legs, the legs of a spider. So I guess that's why this orchid is called Arachnis. Makes sense, right? So I potted this one in semi-hydro, being that it is kind of a Renanthera more than a Vanda. It does appreciate water more than the Vanda, and I think it's similar to the Renanthera. I don't see any dead roots so far in these 3 weeks since I have it, so I think it will do good in this setup. And next to it we have a Trichoglotis, which is very, very different than Vandas. I received this one a few months ago from my viewer Max in Germany. It was tinier than this, it was like this, and in my care it grew these leaves that you can see here. It grows pretty fast, I have to say. It is also growing roots. It has one here, one new root here, one on the other side which you cannot see, and a little tip of a root right here. It is the type of orchid that creates roots all over the stem, even at the top. That's perfectly normal for this orchid, as for the Arachnis, as you can see. And this orchid actually blooms pretty similar to a nobile, maybe, in the sense that it produces tiny little stems from the main axis opposed to each leaf. And it has beautiful dark purple flowers. This orchid is kind of tiny to bloom as I see it, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna have blooms this year, maybe next year with some proper care, but so far so good. It does do good. And about the semi-hydro part, I did see pictures or forum discussions with people who have great success with these guys in semi-hydro. And their environment was pretty similar to mine, pretty hot, let's say, and more warm than cold. Initially I had this orchid potted, but because this was a cutting with aerial roots, there were a few roots that didn't make it. So I had to re-repot it anyway, and since I did, I decided to pot it in semi-hydro. And this has been it for today. I can consider the whole Vandaceous orchids chapter finished for me as far as I'm concerned. I think I found a way to grow my Renantheras properly, and I really hope the Arachnis and the Trichoglotis will do okay in semi-hydro as well. If not, you know, we can always hang them and keep them bare rooted and just soak them, right? And there we go. This was the project that I was kind of dreaming of since vacation. I was in vacation doing nothing and dreaming and planning, and finally it's over. Pretty happy with how it turned out, given my space, which, yeah, it's not a small space, but it is still limited considering the high amount of light the orchids, the Vandas, actually want. Yeah, I didn't have many choices, but you absolutely cannot say that I don't have a lot of Vandas right now. I do. For like a person who grows in a normal room, not outside, there are a lot of Vandas here, and I'm happy about it. So if you can use some inspiration from this, then I'm happy, because this setup can absolutely work in a normal home. If you have a window, southern window for the Vandas, or east-south, you can simply put this on the ground. You don't necessarily need to raise it like I did. And if you're worried about water dripping, put a foil or something on the ground, or a rug you don't really care all that much about, and a foil under the rug. You can be inventive. If you really want to have some Vandas and you live in an apartment, there are ways, and I think this stand is really useful. By the way, it costs 10 euros, so it's not a huge investment. And yeah, I think it's really great. And by the way, somebody actually said that IKEA should give me some shares because I buy all these IKEA stuff. I agree. The sad part is IKEA will never sponsor me or anything because it's just such a big business. They don't care about the likes of me, you know? Anyway, doesn't mean anything. I do actually like IKEA, and I do like their products. Of course, some are better than others. I don't like everything, but I do feel good when I'm at IKEA. I like to browse, and I like to find small little stuff to use around the greenhouse particularly, and in the house as well. I do like it, but I don't get any shares or anything from IKEA. Don't worry, they don't even know I exist. So righty then, if you want more details about these, all of these stands, actually have them down below in the description. I'll try to add links so you see measurements, descriptions, and all of that. And that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed these mini series, and stay tuned for the Hoya and the Phalaenopsis and the soccer stands, because they didn't go anywhere. And you know the drill. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. A share would be wonderful. And if you'd like to stay up to date or watch more orchid videos from me, simply subscribe to my channel. I post 5 times a week. I take a break on Wednesday and Thursday, but if you cannot be bothered to remember all of that, just turn on notifications and YouTube will automatically notify you whenever I post, no matter the hour or the day. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!